So last week at the end of the week, I think this was one of the Field of 68 shows with Rob and Jeff. They basically have been going guy by guy or through some of the biggest names in the portal, biggest names in college basketball player wise, with updates on what's going on. They broke the Haggerty news. They've had a bunch of updates lately, and it's one of the better shows you could listen to if you're a college basketball fan. So go subscribe to the Field of 68, all that. Follow Rob and Jeff and listen to them. They had an update on my star, Yaxel Lendeborg. And their update was essentially that he might never be my star. Goodman's report is that Yaxel Lendeborg is fully focused on staying in the NBA draft, is leaning towards doing that, and that is pretty intent on not playing college basketball. That's the behind the scenes rumor per a source. That's what Goodman is hearing. If this were to happen, it would greatly reshape the way Michigan's offseason looks. They are largely considered the number one portal class right now. And you take Yaxel out of it, they will be scrambling for backup plans. You responded to this. I think it ended up getting clipped and put on Twitter. And you responded to it by quote tweeting it and saying, "Go be great at Yaxel Lendeborg." What's your reaction to this news?
Yeah, you want to know why I said that?
Because you're visibly terrified?
Yeah, Yaxel Lendeborg is incredible. And he makes y'all a top five team. And it would scare the shit out of me. Um, but at the same time, can I, because you never let me do this, can I put myself in Yaxel Lendeborg's shoes?
I'm afraid of it, but yeah.
I personally think that I would get drafted at the same spot, maybe even better next year. Yes, I'm a year older. Yes, you can say that, but okay, I show I can do it at Michigan. I show I can do it at the Big Ten level. I also, for 6 months of work, cash in 4 million. Yay. Gimme. Thank you. What Ellison? Is that who does it? Thank you, Ellison. Appreciate you. It makes so much sense to me why I would go to Michigan. Or in general, why I would play college basketball. Like, give me that paycheck, and then I can go to the NBA next year.
I mean, you're making the case for me.
Now, I'm not Yaxel Lendeborg. Um, you know, I could probably get myself drafted. I haven't even seen the latest mock drafts of where Yaxel Lendeborg even ends up.
He's all
He's
over the
probably
place. For
yeah,
what it's worth, he's all over the place. We've got mocks with him in the first round in the 20s. We've got, I think there's at least one mock with him in like the late teens. And then we've
whoa,
got mocks with him in the mid 40s to 50s. So it feels like people are very split on where exactly Axel could fall this year.
yeah. But I think I think a guy given his size and what he can do, um, teams could talk themselves into picking him as high as like in the 15s, easy.
100%. 100%.
So
Yeah,
and
let
and
me
he might
jump in
be
here. Let me jump in here. Two things. Number one, on like what should he do? I genuinely agree, not fan bullshit. I genuinely agree. If you're not a lottery pick or wherever you are, if we think there's a good chance you're going to go second round and you can get as much money as Michigan offered. They offered him $4 million to play basketball this year. If you can get that money to play basketball for one season and it might actually help where you get drafted, just do it. Like I don't understand why you would not. And I think that's why he committed in the first place. Because I do think one thing that's lost on this a little bit here is Yaxel did commit to Michigan. He didn't have to. Like he could be going through the draft process right now and still just be in the portal, right? Like there's nothing necessitating him to actually commit. So there must be something that happened behind closed doors that they share the vision on this. Otherwise, he'd be in Jameer Watkins' shoes, right? You'd be
mhm.
fielding offers from other schools and waiting, and there would be nothing wrong with that. We interrupt this sleepers video to tell you about an offer from Underdog Fantasy. Cart, you love Underdog Fantasy, correct?
Of course I do. Can I have a moment real quick?
Please. Thank you for that. In fact, I'm going to cut you off because our listeners like when we keep these short and sweet. Underdog Fantasy. Sign up as a new user. Use promo code SLEEPERS. Get bonus funds up to $1,000, 50% of your deposit match. The NBA playoffs are rocking right now. I played Underdog last week with a Cade Cunningham line. I'm looking forward to doing it throughout the entire first round of the NBA playoffs, but there's more. You can place picks on golf. You can place picks on baseball. You can place picks on the NHL playoffs that are rocking right now. Join Underdog Fantasy, promo code SLEEPERS. Support this show so that we can keep bringing videos to you. Back to the video. So to me, that's where I see a little conflict in the report. Not to say I don't believe Goodman's report. I always believe whatever Goodman says. He's the most well-connected man on earth. But it's one of those ones where like it just doesn't make sense why he committed to Michigan if he's fully intent on going into the draft. Um, to me, the reason you commit to Michigan, you go to Michigan for a year is the reason Danny Wolf is about to be taken in the draft this year. Danny Wolf helped his draft stock so much by playing 1 year at Michigan. And by the way, it was a pretty up and down year. Wasn't the best year ever for Danny Wolf. He was very good, but he was inconsistent. His turnover issues were loudly on display. You don't have to be perfect to be the alpha in a Dusty May system and help your draft stock a ton. And if Yaxel Lendeborg just has one really good productive year in that system, I think he's a no-brainer first-round pick next year instead of an iffy first-round pick. So to me, that's where I'm at on this. I still think it's the wise move. Take the $4 million. I will say this. From asking around on the Michigan side of things, the last thing I ever want to do is have a source off with Jeff Goodman. Never want to have that. I'll lose. But the Michigan side of things does not hear the Goodman report here, which is if he does stay in the draft, Dusty May deserves a lot of criticism because Michigan is operating, acting, and verbalizing like they have zero concern that Yaxel Lendeborg will not play at Michigan next year. And that is just opposite of everything that Goodman is saying is happening. So I would like to think that Dusty May is not Juwan Howard and that he's a competent individual. Nothing that he's done in the last year has been overly incompetent in the way he runs his program. And taking a commitment from Yaxel Lendeborg only for Yaxel to stay in the draft and never come to Michigan and not having a backup plan lined up for $4 million would be wildly incompetent. So that's where this is headed. Like right now, Cart, Michigan's not listed for Jameer Watkins. I don't believe they're even working on backup plans because they believe Yaxel Lendeborg will play at Michigan. Goodman believes he won't. Somebody's right and somebody's wrong here, and I don't know who it is.
You got to decide right now. Who is it, though?
I think Dusty's wrong.
Think Dusty's wrong?
I think there's way too much smoke here. And I think there was way too much smoke before Goodman's report, but he is just confirming all of the concerns I had. I mean, dog, this dude, Yaxel committed, and in his commitment messaging was like, yeah, I'm still 80-20, 80% to the draft. And Michigan just like ignored it. Like, I don't get what they're doing. I really don't. I'm terrified.
Yeah, but if it works out, you're good though.
I mean, they must just believe that they have the money to pivot to anybody else late.
Yeah.
But I think they should be working those now. You shouldn't be waiting on Yaxel's word on that.
That's true.
So
you got so much money tied up in Yaxel.
I mean, but he's not getting it until he gets there.
And money's not an option.
It's just an offer.
Yeah. Whale, Porter Whale.
But you work, and also you work those like that. To me, what Dusty should be doing is throw $4 million at Jameer Watkins right now and tell him that if you commit, we'll back out of Yaxel. Basically, it's the first spot. Get one who will not go through the draft. Whoever wants to fully say they're committed, they're in. And if Yaxel has done that behind the scenes, then they don't have to do shit. But everyone else is screaming that that's not what's happened here. So, like, let me be clear. If they lose Yaxel and they don't get a similarly good, and by the way, similarly good, Yaxel's way better than Jameer Watkins. There isn't a similarly good player to Yaxel. That's part of the issue here.
Yeah.
So, like, unless they get an awesome replacement, this is going to go down as a massive mistake from Dusty if he doesn't come to Michigan.
But also, like, you got, devil's advocate here. Still got a solid portal class.
I've been I mean, I'm taking a lot of shit on the Michigan boards these days because I'm the negative guy. No one will believe that.
Oh,
But I'm the because I just don't see it with Cadeau. I don't see it with Mara. I just don't. And those are guys I've been on record not seeing it with long before they got to Michigan. So Merez, Johnson, and Yaxel are the only ads I like from this group from Michigan. I think they still should have been going after guards in addition to this. They're not. Add it all together. If Yaxel decommits, like somebody put a poll up the other day that was like, without Yaxel, where is this Michigan team? And the consensus thought this team was like around the 20th best team in the country without Yaxel Lendeborg. And I genuinely believe this. I don't think they'd make the tournament without Yaxel.
oh,
I think that's how big of a swing ad this is.
sheesh.
I mean, if you lose Yaxel, the only playmaker on the team is the guy that just took R.J. Davis, Ian Jackson, and Drake Powell to the NIT. That's how
And
big of a swing piece this is.
Dusty's a better coach than Hubert.
He better unlock the other bad players that he's brought. Like if a Day Mara and Elliot Cadeau play to their ceilings, like
What's Oscar Goodman up to?
he better be ready.
Oh,
That might be the backup plan.
yeah. All right. What's that? A lot riding on him.
Terrified, man. Terrified.